welcome to our conference. And I'm going to introduce to you Jesse, and I'm going to put him on screen right now, and then I'm going to, oh, he is on stage, sorry. I just want to show us for a minute, and then he's going to take over. This is a really exciting opportunity for us to hear from a nonprofit director who is making a difference with educators through teacher travel. Jesse Wise is the executive director of GEO Teacher Travel Programs. He established GEO in 2007, inspired by his love for travel, which began during high school trips to Europe with the U.S. National Ultimate Frisbee team. And later he studied film in Sydney and embarked on a sponsored 3-month journey through Asia for an Australian tour company. Having visited almost 90 countries, Jesse's passion led him to launch a business development consultancy for European ad agencies in 2003. By 2006, he reduced his consultancy work to focus on GEO, which by 2010 secured funding, allowing Jesse to commit full-time to a role he had volunteered in for 4 years. So welcome, Jesse. We're so excited to have you here. I'm going to let you take over, and we'll go on from here.
Thanks, Lucy. Thank you, everybody, for having me. My session is called Integrating Travel Experiences into Your Curriculum. First, I want to thank all of the people who made GLOW happen, all of the organizations. And I also want to thank Lucy for giving us a platform here to share our passions, to share how we're trying to make the world a better place. So thank you very much, Lucy, for making all this happen. This is the hashtag for connecting and sharing about what you're learning about here at GLOW. And as always, please, in the chat, say where you're from, where you're joining us from, and I'll get started here. This is a global education conference. Normally, I start off presentations like this explaining why it's so important to have global understanding, how it's so important to bring that into classrooms. I don't need to do that at this conference. But from our perspective at GEO, we believe that global understanding begins with direct contact with other people and places. But for a lot of people, there are things that get in the way of that, whether it's the time to be able to travel, or whether it's having the resources to be able to travel. And for some people, especially Americans, the motivation to travel. Especially to go to places that take us out of our comfort zone, maybe places that challenge us, places that are different. We believe that travel experiences for educators can help them gain intercultural competence and fresh perspective that they can bring in the classroom, which will benefit both them and their students. So Global Exploration for Educators Organization is the full name of GEO, but we call it GEO for a reason, so we don't have to say Global Exploration for Educators Organization all the time. We're a 501c3 nonprofit organization based in the United States, founded in 2007, and we provide international travel experiences for educators. We do this by making travel more affordable and logistically facilitating travel abroad, and then we help teachers bring the experience back into the classroom. I'm going to start with our educational framework. Lucy, can you go to the share screen? So when somebody signs up for one of our programs, and I'll talk more about our programs a little later on, we first advise them to learn about the place that they're going. So we have a recommended reading list for all of our programs. For example, if we're going to Morocco, this is our Morocco reading list. So we've got 2 fiction books that we recommend, 2 nonfiction books that we recommend. We do this for all of our programs, 2 fiction, 2 nonfiction. And then we have additional suggestions. And this year we're adding on films as well. We also have a Pinterest board for each of our programs. So this is the Morocco Pinterest board, but for every one of our programs, you'll be able to learn important phrases, little history lessons, PBS videos, all sorts of different articles on current events. So we try to give teachers access to learn as much as they can about the country before they go. For each of our travelers, we ask them to create a classroom action plan. So this is a little Google form we have that they're supposed to fill out about 60 days before they travel with us. Uh, and the main things we're trying to get are, how do they plan on bringing this experience into their classroom? Is there anything they need to do to prepare prior to departure to prepare for their action plan? And what must they do during the trip to prepare for their action plan? So, for example, we say somebody's a dance teacher and they want to teach their students different dances from the country that they're going to. And so before the trip, they'll research different dances customary to the country they were visiting. And then during the trip, they're going to try to schedule a dance lesson for themselves during one of the free nights so that they can learn those lessons. And they'll also ask locals in the villages that they'll be visiting to teach them some dancing. And then they'll take pictures during the trip to serve as a background for the dance performance. So that's the classroom action plan. But some teachers might want some inspiration and find out what other teachers have done in the past. So we have a action plan database here with hundreds and hundreds of data of different classroom action plans that prior teachers have created. We only put in the best ones. So, for example, if you were going to Morocco and you're a math teacher, if you hit search, you'd find several different action plans that were created by teachers who've traveled with us in the past. So, for example, this is a Moroccan geometry plan. So they explained what they're planning on doing, what their pre-departure preparation will be, and what they're going to be doing during the trip. And our even if you're not traveling with us, you're welcome to access our reading list, our Pinterest boards, our classroom action plan database. So this is open for anybody. You don't have to travel with us. You can find all these on our website. Now, during our programs, before the teachers travel, we send a spreadsheet with all of the different classroom action plans that group has created. And we meet for about a half an hour, and we discuss the different classroom action plans that we're planning on. And teachers can give each other feedback. They can workshop the ideas, and then their tour leader will be there, and they will be 98% of the time they're native to that country or region, and they'll be able to give a local perspective. So that way, maybe there's something you missed when you were creating your classroom action plan that might be, if you're an American teacher, an American centric point of view, and that local teacher can give you a local perspective. When our teachers get back, we give them a Google Earth presentation. So I'm sure all of you have used Google Earth. We're using the web version to make it more accessible for teachers. And that will allow them, for example, this is our Morocco program, to zoom around the country and show them all of the places they've gone, including sometimes, going, right down to the ground and, showing, for example, here's the tanneries in Fez. Now, to help the teachers, we have fully scripted each of these Google Earth presentations. And so you can see here, teachers can stick to the script if they want. They can adjust the script for their audience in terms of age, in terms of subject matter, and they can add in their own anecdotes. But we give them all the information, like, that they would want to put into a presentation, a general presentation. There's also additional resources that we link to in our presentations. So, for example, we have clips from the film Casablanca. So they can put that in, because that's where most of the students will have heard of Casablanca, would be from the film Casablanca. So we can kind of put that into perspective through some of those clips. And then when they're in the Sahara Desert, we've got PBS documentary, When the Sahara Was Green, How the Earth Was Made, the Sahara Desert Scorching Heat. So all of these, if a teacher wants to share, spend more classroom time than just this presentation, they can use these resources as well. And of course, then After they do this Google Earth presentation, sometime during the year, and maybe this is an activity, maybe their classroom action plan will stretch throughout the year, we ask them to enact their classroom action plan. Lucy, can we go back to the slides? So we've got a couple educator spotlights. These are some of the teachers who've traveled with us and what they've done to bring their experiences back to their classroom. Barbara is a school librarian in Oklahoma. She's been on 13 trips with us. She actually just got back from Argentina. She went to Chile and Argentina with us just last week. That trip ended. Um, and she's like she works part-time now because she's near retirement, but she actually went on our first trip ever that we ran to Peru back in 2018. Sorry, in 2008. So Barbara's been traveling with us for many years. And Barbara does an activity in her library where in the world is Mrs. McCrary challenge. So the students use geographic coordinates and then try to find her, and then they take a virtual field trip. Another traveler who's been with us many times is a man named Bill Adkins. He actually just retired. Bill has been on 17 or 18 trips with us. And Bill, every year at his school, he would make a mural, a ceramic 3D mural in the hallways of his school um, with his students. And they were all based on the trip that he took that year. And so his school is now filled with icons from all around the world, sites from all around the world in 3D decorating the hallways. And so this is a way he made like a permanent impact on his school, so that when those students walk down the hallway, they're going to see, the Trans-Siberian Railroad, and then they'll see the Taj Mahal and all these different places that he's been rendered in ceramic and 3D. And this is the last spotlight. This is Darcy Bruton. She's an elementary school teacher. She was in the third grade teacher. She was a teacher of the year in New Jersey, social studies teacher of the year in New Jersey. Darcy's been on, I'm going to say 8 trips with us at this point, six, 7, 8 trips. And Darcy, she gets old suitcases and then she creates culture kits. So wherever she goes, she brings back school uniforms and newspapers and toys from those countries and artifacts. And she puts them in the suitcases. And so then with her third grade class, or now in the library, when the students come in, she's got a suitcase that they can explore together. And so she's able to share these experiences with her students and let them, play with the toys from other countries and, look through newspapers in a foreign language. So this is the way that Darcy has been bringing these experiences back into her classroom. So let's go to Geo in terms of our actual programs. How do they work? So our programs are anywhere from 1 to 3 weeks long, and we hold them over the teacher's vacation. So they're over winter break, spring break, and most of our programs are over the summer. The programs are educational. They're small groups. So our groups are from 6 to 16 people maximum. They average 12 people per group. And this allows us to go to places that a large tour bus is not going to be able to go to. And it allows us to have cultural interactions that larger groups will not be able to have. And our trips are affordable. So through a collaborative partnership, we're able to offer educators high quality tour experiences at a reduced cost. We work with a very large tour operator called G Adventures. They're a for-profit company. We're a nonprofit organization. They have some of the best prices in the industry, and their sweet spot are basically trips with 3-star hotels that go to adventurous places that have lots of cultural interaction that are the best prices in the market. And then we further discount those prices. And I can go into that in a little bit in this next slide here. Our programs aren't free. So there are nonprofit travel programs for teachers that are free, and those are great. And we wish there was more of them, and we wish there was more slots. But running free programs costs a lot of money, and it puts you in a position where you have to say no to a lot of people. You can say, sorry, you're a math teacher, you can't go on our program. Sorry, you're not American, you can't go on our program. sorry, you teach elementary school, you can't go on our program. And we don't have to say that. Our programs aren't free. We subsidize them. We make them as inexpensive as possible. So they're 5 to 15% off of retail, depending on when the participant books them. But we just try to make them as affordable as possible. So, for example, that Morocco trip that we run, a 15-day Morocco trip, is about a little over $1,200 for 15 days in Morocco. That doesn't include international flights. Um, but again, we're trying to make this as affordable as possible. We welcome anyone who works in education to travel with us. So it doesn't matter what you teach, it doesn't matter who you're teaching to, it doesn't matter which country you're from. You're welcome to travel on our programs. We wish our programs were affordable from people from all countries, but obviously that is not necessarily possible. So we're working in the future to try to create more equity there, but we're not there yet. We also welcome non-educator guests. We don't want you to feel like you can't travel because your husband can't come with you. So you're allowed to bring along, up to 3 non-educator guests for our programs. But 85% of our travelers are classroom teachers. We also allow, for example, school counselors can travel with us, school administrators, anybody working in the education space is welcome to travel with us. We also welcome retired educators to travel with us. We provide some grants through partners. So this year we're going to provide somewhere between $40,000 and $50,000 in grants. These are $1,000 grants that we distribute to as many teachers as possible. And these come through partners. Most of them are coming through university partners, and I'll talk more about university partners in a moment. Our programs are also a perfect fit for grants from schools or other organizations. If you're a teacher and you're trying to find some professional development funding to travel with us, it's a lot easier to bring this to your school or another organization, say Fund for Teachers or the NEA Foundation. It's a lot easier to present this to them as a professional development opportunity where you're getting a PD certificate. You can get grad credit if you want. You're traveling with other teachers. There's a whole educational framework. You're getting classroom materials to help share the experience with their students. It's safe. You're traveling through an organization with a great reputation, backed by a very large tour operator who runs trips for 250,000 people a year. So it makes it a lot easier for teachers to get funding. But there's a lot of teachers who just travel out of pocket because, again, we make our trips affordable for teachers on American salaries. We run public trips. So those are the trips that you'll see if you go to our website. And we'll talk about some of those programs in a moment. But we also run private groups. So there's programs on our website that you won't be able to see through the regular menu. So we work with organizations to run trips for their members, or we sometimes work with schools to run trips specifically for teachers within that school. So the public trips, teachers are coming from all around the United States mostly. 98% of our travelers are American. And then our private groups are usually from a specific area or from a specific organization. And if any of you are listening to this and are interested in possibly creating a private group for us, please get in touch with us. We're always happy to work with you. And I'll talk more about private groups in a moment. Why do educators travel with us? Well, our trips are fun, they're adventurous, and you learn. We try to recharge teachers' batteries. That's one of our missions as a nonprofit, is to give teachers something to look forward to every year. There's a lot of teachers who book their trips in September as soon as they get back to school. So again, they have something to look forward to as they're, making their way through what can be a very difficult school year. Our trips are small. A lot of teachers love that our minimum is 6 and our maximum is, for most of our groups, is somewhere between 14 and 16 people. They love the teacher-to-teacher interaction. So for example, looking at this picture here, you've got, this is the picture here on the left is in Uzbekistan. And you can see these decorated mosaic tiles. And so if you're an art teacher, you're looking at it from one perspective. And if you're a math teacher, maybe you're looking at it from another perspective. And if you're an social studies history teacher, you're looking from another perspective. And on our trips, these teachers can talk. And I've been on lots of our programs, and there's fascinating discussions with people who are experts on their subject matter and who are passionate about their subject matter, and they're able to engage with other teachers and share their passion and their knowledge. And again, we've got curriculum development. I've already explained our education program. So working with other teachers to figure out ways to share their experiences with their students. We've got expert tour leaders. So our trips are led 98% of the time, roughly, by guides from those countries who have deep knowledge of the history and culture. And they're able to also share their experience of growing up in that country, what the education system's like, customs. We often have tour leaders who bring our groups to meet their families and have a meal with their families. That's not uncommon. Our We work with a tour operator who has a very ethical program design. So there's lots of ways that they try to do right when they run trips. They use locally owned hotels wherever possible so that the money is staying in the country and not going to an international conglomerate. They do social entrepreneurship through their nonprofit Planetera. So um, almost every program has some kind of Planetera project involved, whether that's eating a meal that's served by people who are in a education program to learn how to cook, or in India you get picked up at the airport by women who've been trained to be taxi drivers to give them an income. Um, uh, and then also this is new this year, for every day you travel with us, a tree is planted in your name. And so this year we'll probably have something like 900 teachers traveling with us. Our average trip duration is about 12 days. You multiply that, you've got a lot of trees being planted, and that helps offset the carbon emissions that are created inevitably when traveling. Teachers get professional development credit while traveling with us. It's somewhere between 20 to 50 hours, depending on the program. We give a free certificate to each teacher. We also have an optional graduate credit program. That's 3 graduate credits for $600 through Southern New Hampshire University. And again, that's very much optional. The point of the graduate credit program is to go on the trips, so do the learning on the trip, and then document how you're bringing the experience back into the classroom. And we work with the teachers through the course instructor to help them think about how to create these classroom action plans in a much more detailed way than our regular participants who are not participating in the graduate credit program. Our prices are discounted, as I said before, 5 to 15% off of retail prices. We do, as I said before, we offer grants sometimes, and it's easier to get grants for our programs than it would be to travel on your own or go through a regular tour company. And we provide exceptional customer service. We're available 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., 7 days a week, every single day of the year. You call us, you're not getting a switchboard, you're getting a person right away. You email us, we're going to respond to you almost always within an hour. If you look online, greatprofits.org, look up Geo, you'll see that we've got great reviews. We treat teachers the way they deserve to be treated. We're a nonprofit, we serve them. In 2024, we've got 84 programs to 63 countries on 6 continents. So we're really spread out. As you'll see, that we don't have any trips in the United States or Canada. We're very much focused on travel abroad. Canada counts, but we don't really have any good programs through our provider right now that we can offer. But we're spread out throughout the world. And this is a list of all of our programs that we're running in 2024, all the countries we're going to. And in the chat, if you want to, if there's any of these places that appeal to you, please do write them down. We're always looking to see where people are interested in going. And if there's places that we're not going, in the chat, let us know where you think we should be going that we're not going right now. I'll let this slide linger for a second while I grab a glass of water. Yes, all of them, Lucy. We collaborate with universities on some of our programs. So if you look through our program list, you'll see that we've got for example, a Sri Lanka program we're running with UW-Madison. We've got a Central Asia program that goes to Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, and Kazakhstan. We're running with UT Austin. And we've got 18 $1,000 grants that we're offering from Columbia University, 13 $1,000 grants that we're offering from the University of Illinois. UNC and Duke are working with us on programs to Turkey and Jordan this year. And we've got a number of other university partnership programs, including UT Austin. We're running an Nepal and Bhutan program. And we're also running a Jordan program with UT Austin. And I'm sure I'm forgetting some of our other university partnership programs. When we work with a university, they either send a staff member or a faculty member with the groups. That's what they tend to do, and they act as educational leaders. So they lead those discussions on curriculum development. They share their knowledge. Most of the time, these are experts on that region, so they have an academic knowledge of that country, and that's a nice contrast with the tour leader who's going to be providing a local perspective. So it's great to have the academic and the local perspective on a country. So we are always trying to increase our area study programs with universities. So hopefully we'll have more and more of those in our catalog. And these don't cost, there's no additional cost when we're working with a university to the traveler. Over 4,500 educators have traveled with us so far. We estimate that that's impacted about 450,000 students. 13,000 hours of geo-curriculum has been implemented. Teachers from all different levels of education travel with us. And so far, we've sent teachers to about 80 countries at this point and 6 different continents. And we're adding one more trip to our catalog this year, and that's Iceland with Actionable Innovations Global. So I'm really excited to be working with Lucy on this trip. Lucy and I have been in touch for years. Lucy's always been very supportive of Geo, and we finally decided let's run a trip together.
Yeah.
So I'll give you some details on that. It's July 7th through the 13th. This coming summer. It's 7 days and 6 nights, and we're going to be able to take a maximum of 16 participants. The program fee is $3,087. I wish it could be more affordable, but Iceland's ridiculously expensive. And it'll be on sale from now until December 14th for $2,933. So we've got an early booking sale for it. The fee includes the hotels, all transportation within Iceland in a private vehicle, an Icelandic guide, all breakfasts, and many activities. And we've got our URL there. Lucy, can you put that in the chat?
I'm afraid if I click on it, I'm going to
Okay.
I'm going to advance your slides, and I don't want to
Oh,
screw
no.
anything else today.
Well, Lucy will also be in touch and can
Yeah,
promote.
I'm going to send it out at the end of the thing too, but I'll type it in as well.
Perfect. So that is our this is the route. So we're going all around Iceland, starting in Reykjavik and ending in Reykjavik. You're going to see a lot of waterfalls. You're going to see a lot of geologic land formations. You're going to learn about Icelandic culture. You're going to see glaciers. You can actually go hiking on a glacier with crampons and ice axes. We do that, and we have people who are 70 years old doing that hike with us. So it's a fantastic trip. I went on this in 2021 as my get out of the pandemic trip, and I had a fantastic time.
So I can tell you a little
Okay.
bit about. I'll let you finish, and then I'll tell you what my
Oh no,
vision
I'm
is.
good. Yeah, go ahead, Lucy.
Okay. So the reason I'm intrigued by doing a trip is I love to travel, but two, a number of years ago, I was part of I still am, a teacher community called Apple Distinguished Educators. Rita is also one who's in the chat. And we went to Europe to write a global awareness curriculum in 2006. And we traveled to Berlin and Prague, and we wrote the curriculum on the way and taught each other how to use various digital devices to create digital media. And it was a magical trip. Imagine going with a bunch of your, best professional friends and learning and along the way, and a number of different levels. And so my dream is to kind of reenact something similar to that. And I'm looking for, a group of teachers who want to go and have fun together, also think about the cultural impact on ourselves, and then how does this fit into our teaching and on an everyday basis. So if you're interested, we'd love to have you. And it's only 16 people, so hopefully that will be appealing to you. When Jesse and I were talking about this, we were looking at more affordable options, including I think we were looking at Morocco and Turkey. And I thought maybe it would be a little warm in the summer. And also the trips were a little bit longer, and this one is not as long. And I really wanted to pick a place too that I thought would be highly appealing to teachers, and Iceland seems to be one of those locations. I do have a question though for Jesse. I saw that a town in Iceland was being evacuated recently due to a volcano. Is that
Mhm.
impacting any travel plans?
Not yet.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, it's actually pretty close to the international airport, that part of Iceland. So
really.
that's really the only way that would impact the trip. So if you look at Reykjavik on that map right there,
Yeah,
and if you look
yeah,
at the E in Reykjavik, it's
yeah.
around that E where that
Really?
where that's happening, in somewhere between R, E, and Y, on that map. And the airport is also in that area of R, E, and Y. So right now, it's not impacting the airport. If it doesn't impact the airport, then the trip's totally fine because trip is not going near where that volcano is. And I
Okay.
actually visited that volcano in 2021 because it's been erupting for a while. It's just kind of picked up and it's expanded where it's going. But you could walk
Fascinating.
right up to the lava, and the lava was burning hot, um,
Wow.
when I was there in 2021.
I've been to the airport because there used to be this airline that I wish I could remember the name of it. It was purple. That was super cheap, and but you had to stop in Reykjavik. You had to stop at that airport in order to get wherever
Wow.
you're going. Yes, wow, yes.
Yeah.
I flew to Paris on WOW and had a layover in Reykjavik in the airport. And the airport was great, but I didn't get a chance to explore. So this sounds really exciting, and I'm really looking forward to hopefully getting enough people together. How many people do we need to go to make the trip run? Like
Six
nine
people.
people? Six
Just
people?
six. Yeah,
Ooh,
just six. So we've got really small minimum. So, if just a few people want to sign up for this, we can run it.
okay. So I'll send out more information about it to everyone at the end of the conference once I've recovered. And if you're interested, we can talk about it some more and talk about collaborating on the trip in terms of, I think it would be really fun to maybe do an iPhoneography kind of workshop or something around the tour that we could create some artifacts together, digital media wise and that sort of thing. So if you're interested, we'd love to have you. I'm really looking forward to this, and I hope that you'll join me.
Great. I'm going to move to the questions. Oh, this is our contact information. You can reach us at travel@geo.org. You can reach me at jesse@geo.org. You can call our toll-free number whenever you want. Again, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., 7 days a week, every day of the year, we're going to answer that phone. That's Eastern time. And you can also look through our website. We have lots and lots of information on our website. And I'm happy to take any questions that anybody has.
Anybody have questions about Geo and what they do? I see we have some comments. This is from my friend Marilyn, and she has some people that we could meet up with. She was just there.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Oh, and Christina's our social media communications person, and she put in a link there of some pictures, I think, from the glacier hike itself.
Oh, fun.
So if you want to see what that looks like,
And she does a great job with the social media too, because I
she's great.
follow you guys on Instagram and Facebook. I'm not a TikToker yet, really. Um, but she does a great job. So bravo, Christina, for posting everything. Anyone else have any questions or comments or suggestions of places that Geo doesn't go that you'd like to go? Right. See, the stages are quiet places in comparison to our session rooms. So people are a little shy, but I think they're excited about this. Belize. Have you ever been to have a trip to Belize?
Yeah, we ran a Belize trip last year. We run a trip that goes to Belize and then it crosses over to go to Tikal in Guatemala.
Oh,
So
nice.
we run that trip every now and again. It's not something that we put in the catalog every year because it's not as popular. Not as many people sign up for that.
Okay. We have a lot of, we had several GLOW attendees from Guatemala this year.
Oh, that's
Thanks.
awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, what's been, so Jesse, what's been your most, I was asking in the chat what people's most memorable trip was. What has been a trip for you that has been impactful or memorable in some way in your life?
I mean, they're all memorable. They're all great. So it's kind of hard to pick between them. But I mean, I usually like to talk about the ones that I've most recently been on. I
Yeah.
went to Bhutan this summer. Uh, Bhutan's a country that had internet, the latest of any country in the world. They
Wow.
specifically kept internet out. They were the latest to have TV in their country. They're the only country in the world that's carbon negative. So they're a fascinating country who's gone about governing and priorities and everything in a very different way than any other country. So they're kind of like a hermit kingdom, but for the most part in the nicest way possible.
Yeah.
So that was really amazing to be there. So we have a program this year that's Nepal and Bhutan, and I also went on. We have a Mont Blanc hiking trip that I went on, where I got to hike around the Alps for a week, and that
Wow.
was great. So I did went from the Himalayas to the Alps last summer, and it was wonderful. We have so many great trips that it's kind of Josh, who's our program manager. He went to Japan with us last year, and then Christina went to the Galapagos Islands with us and to Portugal last year. But yeah, we run so many programs. I see some more question. Any other questions here?
Um, uh, Christina was suggesting she wanted to know, or she thought maybe you should talk about this. How about suggestions on good starter trips for teachers who aren't well traveled but still want an enriching experience? Like, I'm not sure if every teacher is going to go hike in a month for around the Alps. Are there some good starter trips from your list that you
Uh,
would recommend?
Well, Central Europe's really popular. That's a trip that starts off in Berlin and then it goes to Krakow to Krakow, then Prague, then Český Krumlov, then Vienna, and then ends in Budapest. So that's a trip that's very popular for
Yeah,
people who haven't traveled that much. The same thing with Spain and Portugal, and Iceland to some degree. Europe is for most Americans is the more comfortable place to go. But
yeah,
I am often recommending people go to Morocco as one of the first trips. It's very affordable. It's an amazing country. It's very, very safe. Um, and Vietnam, Cambodia trip is super popular as well. That's a 17-day program. It's around $2,000. So I
that's really
recommend that
reasonable.
as a start one. Yeah.
So yeah, so I was saying in the chat that somebody that I know here in Chicago has gone on 6 trips with you, and she hasn't topped your 13. The person that went on 13 trip, but she went on, I think, on the Vietnam Cambodia one last summer, and her pictures were amazing on Facebook, and she was very excited to see that you were speaking here today, Connie.
Oh, that's great.
If you're watching, hello.
Connie, am I?
Yes, yes,
Oh,
yes.
great. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I hope this has given everybody some food for thought. You don't have to sign up for the trip this second, but we do have to know at some point whether it's going or not. So sooner rather than later is probably a good idea. The sale is going on through December 5th. Jesse, is that what the date
Uh,
is?
December 14th. So it's going to be
December.
basically a month long. And we really want to make sure we get to 6 people before January because with Iceland, we have earlier release dates than most of our programs. Those hotels
Okay.
essentially start charging us for rooms if we're not actually keeping them earlier than almost any of our other programs.
Okay.
So we kind of want to know where we stand by January. And that way, again, if you're signing up for this program, you'll know whether it's running or not by the new year because we
Okay.
kind of need to make sure we get at least our minimum of 6 before then.
So we put our deposit down for
Yeah.
it, and then if it doesn't run, then that's refunded.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a $350 deposit to sign up for any of our programs. And if you yourself cancel, that deposit goes on your file. It never expires. You can use it whenever you want in the future on any of our trips or any of G Adventures trips. So you can use it 10 years from now if you want.
Okay.
But if we cancel a trip, we don't have enough people, then we just give everybody full refunds. And then
Okay.
final payment is due 60 days before departure. So you don't
Okay.
need to make any payments in between then. But if you want to make partial payments, just email us, call us, and we'll charge you whatever you want in between.
Oh, that's nice. Okay. All right. That seems like a fair deal. Um,
Mhm.
I'm looking forward to this. I want everybody else to remember too that there's some resources whether you're traveling or not. And I'll put the link in the chat before I choke. This is what happens when I talk a lot. Um, take a look at some of these resources too, because I think they're useful to you whether you're actually traveling or not. And I like the simplicity of how you've organized everything into manageable chunks for people. So that's also a good way, I think, to start um, if you're new to going global in general. Reading about places and exploring what they're about through literature and that sort of thing is one way to kind of whet your travel appetite as well. Okay. Anything else you want to leave us with? I'm going to put your slides down and anything else you want to say to us before we wrap up, Jesse?
No, no. Thanks again, Lucy, for giving us this platform. Thank you for collaborating with us. I'm excited to work with you. And if anybody has any questions, anybody wants to collaborate with us as well, feel free to give me a call. I'm always willing to be creative and figure out how our organization can fit with another organization in terms of achieving both of our goals of making the world a better place, a more globally linked place. So, yeah, thanks again.
Thank you. And everybody, he's also been really active on the conference platform over the last day. So you can also reach him through the list of speakers on the front page and the reception page, or through the people tab over on the right hand side. You can send him a message or set up a meeting with him right on this platform with the tools that we have here, and hop in. And fortunately, things seem to be working. So I can say with confidence that those tools are available to you. Thanks a lot, everyone, for coming. We really appreciate it. And the next thing is our expo. And our vendors, they're not really vendors, our partners, our benefactors, our sponsors are going to be in their booths, and they would love to meet with you just to say hi and so that you can learn more about their programs and initiatives. And again, if you work for an organization, you may want to collaborate with these people as well. So make sure that you drop in. The Global Learning Accelerator is a STEM program that's free. Digital Promise has a Sienna Solutions Challenge that's open to students around the world. That's pretty amazing. And then we have the Institute for Humane Education, whose lead person, CEO, Zoe Weil, is going to be a keynote later on today. And then, and they have all sorts of programs, and they've had all sorts of presentations that are phenomenal with students and teachers this week. And then we also have my Hero Project, which has great materials, and Fulbright teacher exchanges, and the NEA Foundation. So make sure that you stop by the booth. They'd love to see you. Even, just chit chat and learn a little bit more about them, and thank them for supporting our event. Thanks again, everyone, and we'll talk to you soon. See you at 2:00 for more sessions. Bye.